Today, I'm talking about why people feel entitled to wealthy celebrities' money. I'm Nisi, welcome to my channel. And if you've ever seen somebody online going off about what Beyonce should be doing with her money or what Jay-Z owes the community, keep watching because we need to have this conversation. A recent example of this is the Carmelo Anthony case. For anyone who isn't familiar, Carmelo Anthony is a black teenager who was convicted of murder and sentenced to 35 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of another teenager at a high school track meet. And a significant portion of the conversation around this case online has been about which black celebrities should be stepping up to finance his legal defense. People have been calling out Beyonce, Jay-Z, LeBron, and others by name, demanding that they use their wealth to intervene in a legal situation that has nothing to do with them personally. And that right there is the entitlement this video is about. That's a heavy expectation to place on anyone. Being black and wealthy doesn't automatically obligate you to financially insert yourself into every high profile case involving a black person. These celebrities did not create the circumstances of this case, they're not legal representatives, and their silence isn't the same as complicity. I actually lived a version of this firsthand, so stick with me for a second. And if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and subscribe. I drop new videos every week. When I was a teenager, I was involved in an organization that was founded by Nick Cannon and the Cannon family. It was based in the Bay Area, and the concept behind it was genuinely great, rallying people to make a difference and creating programs and events for Black and Brown youth in the community. I was invested in it, and so were a lot of other people. Through that organization, I was able to attend celebrity events in Los Angeles where I had the opportunity to interview celebrities like Claudia Jordan, Jennifer Freeman, and Vanessa Bell Calloway, among others, as well as local politicians about their policies and what changes they wanted to enact for urban communities. And then Nick Cannon stepped back from it. His wife at the time wanted him to focus on her projects and her priorities, and he obligated himself to his marriage. I understand that. That's his life and those are his choices. But what happened was the organization lost its momentum the moment his name was no longer attached to it. Getting it off the ground without a celebrity name behind it was extremely difficult. And one of my mentors at the time ended up having to let it go after years of trying to keep it alive. And I'll be honest, I was disappointed. I was a teenager and I didn't fully understand yet that a celebrity can change their mind at any point. They can walk away from something they started. They can go quiet on issues they used to speak on. They have their own lives, their own obligations, their own reasons that you may never know about. And none of that makes them obligated to be a permanent pillar in your community. That experience taught me early that you can't build something that depends on a celebrity's continued involvement because that involvement is never guaranteed. And here's the part that makes this even more complicated. A lot of these same celebrities that people are waiting on to speak up or step up aren't going to do it because they've spent years carefully building brands and business relationships that depend on them staying neutral or staying quiet. The agenda that's paying them the most is almost always the one that's going to get their compliance. Corporations, endorsement deals, streaming platforms, and political relationships all come with unspoken expectations about what you say and what you don't. And most celebrities at that level have already made their choice about which side of that they're going to be on. So expecting them to blow up their financial infrastructure to take a public stand for a cause is expecting them to prioritize your values over their business interests. And for most of them, that's just not how it works. And a big part of what fuels this entitlement is a warped customer service mentality. People spend money on concert tickets, on merchandise, on the brands these celebrities promote, and somewhere in their mind, that transaction becomes personal. Like, because you spent $5,000 to attend someone's tour, they now owe you their politics, their activism, their opinions, and their money. But that's not what you paid for. You paid to attend a performance. You entered a commercial transaction with an entertainer. You didn't buy into a social service organization or a community fund. The ticket was for the show, not for a lifelong relationship built on shared values. Pay attention to who people actually direct this energy toward. You don't see the same crowd demanding that random tech billionaires fix their neighborhoods or that hedge fund managers speak up about social issues. The pressure almost always lands on highly visible celebrities, and a disproportionate amount of it lands specifically on wealthy Black celebrities. Beyonce, Jay-Z, LeBron, these are the names that come up every time somebody feels like the world isn't moving fast enough. Why hasn't she said something? Why isn't he doing more? Why doesn't she fix this? People have turned these celebrities into elected officials, community leaders, and social service programs without their consent. And on another note, think about the spiritual side of this too. A lot of these celebrities are under spiritual contracts with the same people they're under monetary contracts with. I'm not going to go too deep into that in this video, but if you know, you know. The more wealth a celebrity appears to have, the more some people feel entitled to it. Every private jet, every mansion, every luxury purchase, every designer outfit becomes evidence that somebody else's problem should be their responsibility, and people start counting another person's pockets and building a case for why that money should be going somewhere else. It stops being about admiration and starts being about expectation. A lot of this comes down to the fact that people are looking for a savior. When problems feel too big and too systemic and too overwhelming to solve on your own, you start looking for someone with enough power and resources to fix it. And a celebrity who is visibly wealthy becomes a symbol of what's possible. The issue is that a symbol is not the same as a solution. But here's what gets lost in that cycle. Nobody asked these celebrities to be your savior. You appointed them to that role without their consent, and now you're holding them accountable for a job they never applied for. Some of these celebrities never claimed to represent you, and that's something people consistently refuse to accept. Just because someone is Black doesn't mean they see themselves as a representative of Black people. Some celebrities are actively positioned as activists and have built their platforms around that. Others are focused on building businesses, protecting their wealth, maintaining their brands, and staying out of anything that could compromise their commercial relationships. Neither of those is a moral failing. They're just different priorities, and your feelings about those priorities don't create an obligation. A lot of fans build entire narratives around celebrities that celebrities themselves never agreed to. You decided what they stood for, and you decided what they owed you. And when they didn't perform the role you cast them in, you called it a betrayal. And this leads to the real issue at the center of all of this. A celebrity can't be your village. A celebrity can't mentor your children. A celebrity can't build relationships in your neighborhood. They can't create the trust, connection, and support that comes from people who are actually present in your life. No amount of money donated, no amount of public statements made, no amount of community initiatives funded from a distance replicates what an actual community does for people. Real community comes from family, friends, churches, and organizations, from mentors and neighbors and local leaders who show up consistently and personally. The village is built by ordinary people who decided to invest in the people immediately around them. That's where real change has always come from, and that's where it will keep coming from. The dangerous part of celebrity worship is that the more you invest in it, the more disappointed you become. You expect perfection, generosity, activism, and leadership from people you've never met, people who have no idea who you are, who owe you nothing beyond the entertainment or art that they put out. And when they inevitably fail to meet the expectation you built without their input, it feels like a personal betrayal. But those expectations were never agreed upon. The celebrity didn't sign a contract with you. You signed one with yourself and then handed them the bill. Would it be great if wealthy people gave more? Sure. Would it be wonderful if more celebrities invested deeply in the communities they come from? Absolutely. But there's a difference between something being admirable and something being owed. The existence of someone else's wealth does not create a claim to it. That's not how wealth works, and it isn't how obligation works. You can wish someone would do more without deciding that they're morally required to do it. Those are two very different positions, and a lot of people are confusing them. The village you're waiting for isn't coming from Hollywood or from a stadium or from a Forbes list. It has to be built by the people who are already in your community. The energy that goes into monitoring what a celebrity should be doing with their money could go into building something in your own community. The outrage about what some entertainer hasn't said could be redirected toward local leaders who are actually in the room where decisions that affect your life are being made. Celebrities are entertainers, brands, and business people. Some of them are also philanthropists and activists, and that's genuinely admirable, but none of them are your community. And the sooner that distinction gets made, the sooner people can start putting their expectations where they might actually produce something. If you're new here, I'm Nisi York. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Nutrition Nisi. My channel covers beauty, nutrition, and lifestyle. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think wealthy celebrities have an obligation to give back, or is that a personal choice? I want to hear where you stand. And if this resonated with you, share it, like it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Take care.